and games that's worth to spend over 100 hours playing. There's some games that's so good or even has so much content you can spend so much time playing and doing different things in the game, like missions or explorations, secret islands, or even challenges. So today we're going to see some of these games. And just remembering, we only talk about single player games here, so hope you guys enjoy it. Click on the like if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel. I'm posting videos every week, 4 or 5 videos a week, and I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy the other videos too. So let's go. The Witcher 3 is a huge and complex third-person action RPG, with a great story mode and even better DLCs, even with an extra game inside the game itself, called Gwent, a very fun card game. The game was developed by CD Projekt Red and released in 2015 to Xbox One, PS4 and PC, and in 2022 received a free upgrade to the new generation. It's also available on Nintendo Switch now. It's all set in a huge open map with amazing freedom to choose the way you want to do things, if you want or not do different stuff, even with a lot of different endings. And the most interesting thing here is how you deal with the characters, that may change a whole part of the mission, a whole part of the next missions itself. That's really interesting in The Witcher 3.
War crimes, even racism.
That's the type of game that everyone should play at least once. Despite it has some problems, it's still one of the best games ever made.
Project to date. The open.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is an amazing and realistic experience on the American Western, the ending of the 18th century, with an impressive open world and story. The game was developed by Rockstar Games, released in 2018, to Xbox One and PS4, and later on PC. So far they did not do an upgrade to the new generation, but it runs better on Series X or One X. The missions of the game are also unique, with an unbelievable character development for the story, all set in one of the most realistic open world video games has ever seen. And believe me, if you want to really play this game, you're going to spend over 100 hours only on the single player, playing the missions, the secondary missions, the challenge, and if you want to do 100%, bro, good luck. That's very interesting, but also time consuming. So trust me, if you play and you like, you can spend a long time playing. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim is an impressive open-world action RPG, with plenty of possibilities to choose the path you want to follow or infinite build styles. The game was developed by Bethesda and released in 2011, PlayStation 3, PC and Xbox 360, but throughout the years this game got a lot of upgrades and new versions, and is now available in every platform you can imagine. The game is set in a fanciful medieval land, in a first and also in a third-person camera. But to be honest, the third-person camera is kinda strange, it does not work very well in this game. So you better play in the first-person mode, with all types of creatures, characters, weapons, possibilities and what to do or not to do. The new Elder Scrolls is already announced, and I believe it's going to take a long time to be released. I'd even say 2027 or even later. But for now, if you didn't play Skyrim, you should.
No one wanted to.
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the biggest adventure of Zelda's series. The game is set in a huge open world with infinite possibilities and a cute story. The game was developed by Nintendo and released in 2023 to Nintendo Switch, and so far it's an exclusive of that console. What's bad for one side, because it's kinda weak console, but Nintendo is surely going to launch a new console next year and probably launch this game in a better version too. The game follows Link, a young warrior that's usually searching a way to save the Princess Zelda, and here is not much different, but this game is impressive in its detail, with a huge open map and infinite things to do. And just imagine that everything in this game can be done in different ways. I mean, really different ways, thousands of different ways. You know, the game won't give you the way it wants you to do, and neither show you what to do. It'll just give you the tools, you'll find your way. This is the sequel of the Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I'd say it's not required to play the Breath of the Wild first. This one is bigger and greater than the first one in this style, so you must play it. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a realistic and immersive medieval experience set in a first-person camera with the most realistic combat ever made in a medieval game. The game was developed by Warhorse Studios and released in 2018 to Xbox One, PS4 and PC, but now it's also available on Nintendo Switch and Amazon Luna too. And if you want to play it, you must know this is an extreme realistic game in every single detail, combat, story accuracy and the world itself. The journey is long and slow, so if you don't like realistic games, you should take a better look before playing, because it's really a sort of medieval simulator with a hard but immersive combat system, very good story and a very fun exploration. And this game can even be used for you to explore how they really lived back then, because as I said, it's very realistic in every single detail. The sequel of the game is coming out in 2025, better graphics and a refined gameplay, all in a new generation, but I think you should play this one first to get used to the mechanics and the world of the game itself. That's really worth it. Cyberpunk 2077 is a first-person action RPG in a shooter style. The story of the game is great and immersive, with amazing main and also secondary quests, characters and also different endings like The Witcher 3. The game, like The Witcher 3, was developed by CD Projekt Red and released in 2020, Xbox One, PS4 and PC, and in 2022 it received a free upgrade to the new generation. And despite its launch wasn't very good, today the game is immensely better. It is set in a steampunk world, in a beautiful and nocturnal city, with nice missions and different ways to approach them, and impressively good secondary stories too, even with possible romances like The Witcher 3. And believe me, if you want to play this game, you better do everything you can. There are some simple secondary quests, but the great secondary quests are really good. In 2023 the game received a DLC with a new map, characters and even better story and mission. So if you played the original game but didn't play the DLC, you should. They added things the original game was supposed to have in the launch. Baldur's Gate 3 is really the biggest tactical RPG ever created. It's all set in a unique and impressive world, with a lot of different scenarios, characters and possibilities. And it's serious. It's even scary how insane the game can change if you make a small decision. The game was developed by Larian Studios and released in 2023 to Xbox Series X, Series S, PS5 and PC. And the people that knew the series already knew that it would be a huge game, but the rest of the world didn't know how good and impressive it would be, and is now remembered as one of the best games ever made. Even got the Game of the Year award on TGA. What's so interesting in Baldur's Gate 3, beyond the graphics, gameplay and the scenarios, is the detail. It's even hard to believe that a game could have so much possibilities. For example, if you choose to talk or not talk to an NPC, it could change a whole part of the game, a whole setting of mission, and that's just one example. And everything in this game will change something, and that's wonderful. Believe what I say, this game is going to be remembered for more than a decade. That's a game that just a few people believed in, and now the whole world was absolutely impressed by its amazing quality. Elden Ring is a definitive Souls-like experience, set in a huge and immersive open world, with an immense lore, challenging bosses and impressive scenarios. The game was developed by From Software and released in 2022 to Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S, PS4, PlayStation 5 and PC, and in that year it won the Game of the Year award on TGA.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the heart.
If you've never played Souls-like, know that it's a sort of action RPG, but with some specific features, like a bonfire feature, a Souls mechanic, that's a sort of money in the game, hard bosses and much more. And Elden Ring is the biggest one so far, and the best one to start if you've never played none before. In 2024, the game received a great expansion called Shadow of the Erd Tree, with over than 20 hours of content, just the DLC, even harder bosses and enemies, a new map, weapons and much more, so you should play it. Persona 5 is a huge and impressive JRPG journey with a unique style. Usually this game is thought as one of the best of its style, and that's true, it's an absolutely insane experience. The game was developed by Atlas and released in 2016, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, but today you can play different versions of the game, such as Royal, on PC, Nintendo Switch or even Xbox Series X and S, and that's really worth if you enjoy this type of game. Persona 5 is that type of game that will place you in a dark and fascinating world, with absolutely amazing storytelling and character. As you start to learn how the things really work in the game, you start to feel even more immersive because of its combat, characters, or even the choices possibilities you can do, so I highly recommend it. Usually Atlus create immersive and huge RPG experience, such as Persona game, but it released some weeks ago Metaphor Fantasio. That's a very interesting experience, but set in a more fanciful world, but also very interesting.
You transferred to Shujin Academy.
GTA 5 is one of the biggest games ever made, a huge action open world game, and I won't even be talking about the multiplayer here, just the story mode. And despite you can finish the game in under 30 hours, believe me, it's even more amazing if you try to do some extra stuff. The game was developed by Rockstar Games and released in 2013. Even got a Game of the Year award that year and was released to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. But in the next years it was released to PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. And the PS4 and Xbox One version had some very interesting changes back then, as new features, textures and even the first person mode. That's very interesting. The story of the game is good, but it's not a masterpiece like Red Dead Redemption 2 for example. But actually that's not the GTA style, that's not what GTA was supposed to be. It's more like a fun and impressive open world that makes the reality of the moment with a lot of sarcasm and smart choice, taking all sides and making an amazing satire of the American world.
Like the kids on TV. We play ball and sit in the
Fallout 4 is the last story-driven Fallout released so far. It's a FPS RPG set in a big and destroyed map, with an interesting story and very fun exploration and gameplay.
World, America's favorite vacation destination.
The game was developed by Bethesda and released in 2015 to PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One, and in 2024 it got a free upgrade to the new generation, but actually it wasn't as good as expected. As always in Fallout, the world is semi-destroyed by a nuclear bomb, and those who were in the shelters or some specific place on surface was able to survive. And now we must explore the surface, searching for answers, dealing with mutant creatures, raiders, and doubtful characters. The start of the game may feel kinda lost, but as you start to explore and discover the possibilities, you'll feel more immersive in the game, with very good missions and different choices that lead to different endings. So guys, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Click on the like if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments too. Subscribe to the channel as I'm posting a lot of videos every week here, so I really appreciate if you can help me by subscribing. And that's it then. See you in the next video. So long.
The one I found myself in.